I'm gonna bring some stuff, but it'll all come back.
What's that?
I'm gonna bring some stuff, it'll all come back.
Oh. Aw, you know, you look nice. You're in like pants.
I rarely wear pants, and I never wear these shoes anymore. It's always new balance shorts every day.
That's what I'm like.
That's what pandemic's like, you know, New Balance shorts. Forgot about the shirt too. There's like shirts I forgot about that I don't.
I know, but you used to wear that shirt
All the time. The pandemic's thrown off my shirt rotation. You guys need a clean buzz tonight. Please pop open that Burnett. If you're looking for a clean buzz. Oh, that's not booze. That's the router. And I mean, if Michael's not home, or if he is home, feel free. I'll do it tonight. Yeah.
Like, I have a meeting at 7.
I don't know if I should do it. Just make it.
I would add that.
I don't know if I should all. No. To a fault. Never.
I feel like I really don't care. Yeah, try it out. So.
Oh.
Patricia. Hey there. Hi. Hi.
We're going to use weights today.
Go get them.
Anita?
Hi.
I texted Jenny, so she'll add you to class.
Thank you very much. Super.
We're going to do weights today, just so you know.
What do we need?
Weights.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Be right back.
We have like 2 more minutes, so we'll wait for
Okay.
Christine to join us. If you feel like you want to put any music on, you're welcome to do that. I have music playing here, but hopefully y'all can't hear it.
We can hear it a little.
You can hear it a little. Yeah, it screws with the audio if it's too loud.
Hey, Cynthia.
Hey there, Patricia. How you doing?
Going.
Hey, Cynthia.
What do we need today?
We're going to use weights today. All right. We're going to start standing up. And so I hope you guys can see my feet, because we're going to start by doing some footwork stuff. So,
Are you going to mute us?
yes,
Anita.
thank you for reminding me. Okay, so if anybody needs me, just wave me down and I'll unmute you. So go ahead and stand and just take a second to feel your weight over your feet. Feet are in line with your sits bones. Pelvis is over the feet, ribs are over the pelvis, head is over the ribs. And just imagine your shoulders are hanging like a set of shoulder pads, just resting right on top of your rib cage. And we're just going to start by rocking our weight forward and back onto the balls of the feet and then onto the heels. Just kind of feeling the range in your ankles. So the rest of the body stays stacked. We're trying not to fold at the hips or fold at the knees. We kind of keep everything stacked up and just letting the weight of your body roll onto the balls of your feet and then onto your heels. You might feel that as you come forward, the muscles in the front of the body engage a bit more, and then as you go back to your heels, the muscles in the back of the body engage a bit more. And then just make that a little smaller and smaller until you feel your weight rest in the middle. And then once you've gotten to a still place with your weight evenly distributed between the front of your feet and the back of your feet, we're going to start to rock side to side. So over the left foot and then over the right foot. And again, just trying to feel the weight of the body shift from one foot to the other. Noticing that the side that you're moving towards, the muscles on that side of the body engage a little bit stronger. And then start to make that a little bit smaller until you find yourself rested in the middle with even weight on both feet. And then we're gonna go to circle. So you're gonna let your weight go forward to the balls of the feet, over to the right, back to the heels, over to the left, and continue around. We'll go around about 3 more times on your own timing. Try not to grip your toes as you go forward. And if your heels come up just a little bit, that's okay. And if your toes come up a little bit when you go to the back, that's okay as well. And then pause and reverse your circle. Letting the weight roll around the whole surface of the foot. Try to feel that the foot is really opening and sort of expanding down into the floor. And then make that smaller until, again, you feel your weight stacked right through the middle of the feet. And then we're gonna take our, let's see, your left heel, my right heel, up off the ground. And then you're just gonna push with the ball of your foot and the toes, and then just let the toes come back down, and then let the heel come down. And then we'll do the other foot. So ball of the foot, push with the toes, place the toes in the ball of the foot, lower the heel. And we'll go back and forth. So right or left foot, push, and down. Ball of foot, push with the toes, ball of foot, heel, ball of foot, push with the toes, ball of the foot, heel. And we're trying to really find that articulation through the ball of the foot as you push the floor away. So feel the arch working. Feel those toes kind of grip the floor and then point as you release the toes from the ground. And point. And point. We'll do one more time each side. Getting all those small muscles deep into the foot to wake up. And then we're gonna stay on our first side. We're gonna lift the heel, lift the toes off, and you're gonna just tap the toes to the ground in front of you, toes to the ground to the side of you, toes to the ground at the back of you, and keep going through. Toes to the front, toes to the side, toes to the back, toes to the front. And I'm still doing that little kind of push off the ground with my toes. So I'm allowing toes, ball of the foot to touch, and then I'm pushing off the ground. And tap one more time. Push, and push, and push. And then I'm gonna step on that foot. I'm gonna take my other foot off, reach it forward, push off the ground to the front, push off to the side, and push off to the back. And front, and side, and back. Push, and push. It's almost like I'm trying to pick up like a pencil off the ground between my toes and the ball of my foot. Push, push, to the back one more time, all the way around, to the front, to the side, and to the back. And then we'll put that foot down. Go ahead and find the place where your feet are right underneath you again. We're gonna roll forward, bring the weight forward into the balls of the feet, and then roll the heels up off the ground. Find your balance. Think of lengthening the head towards the ceiling as you slowly lower the heels down. Finding that length through the spine. Try to keep that length as you lower your heels. Again, lifting the heels up, weight goes onto the balls of the feet. Float the head towards the ceiling. Keep that head floating as you lower the heels gently down. And again, weight forward onto the balls of the feet. Heels float off the ground. Floating head as the heels lower down. And one more like that. Weight forward onto the balls of the feet. And lift the heels. And lower the heels. And then we're gonna come back up, we're gonna stay. So weight forward onto the balls of the feet, heels come up. We're gonna hold our position as we gently turn our head over the shoulder. And back to the center, drawing the waist in and to the other shoulder. And back to the center. And then gently, slowly lowering those heels to the ground. And again, rocking the weight forward onto the balls of the feet. Lift the heels. Hold that position. Narrow the waist. Let your head look down towards the ground. And center. And then up towards the ceiling. Ooh, that one's hard. And center. And then lower your heels all the way back down. Good, shake your feet out. All right, we're gonna do a little bit more standing leg balance, and then we're gonna do some movement side to side, so some more dynamic movement. So we're gonna take our weight, bring it over our right foot, lift your left leg up off the ground, knees just floating in the air. Yep, we're gonna kick our leg forward and bring it back in. Kick the leg side, bring it back in, kick the leg back, and bring it back in. Same thing, forward, and side, and back, and in one more time with this leg, forward, and side, and back, and put it down. Other leg comes up, try to shift your weight right over that standing leg, and kick the leg forward, and side, and back, and to the center, and forward, and side, and back, and to the center. One more time, keeping my torso mostly over that standing leg, just moving from the hip. And then go ahead and put that foot down. Shift the weight over your first leg, bring your first knee up again, and we're gonna start to the back. So you're gonna go to the back, and to the side, and to the front, and again to the back, and side. Feel the length of that standing leg, really opening the foot down into the ground as you lengthen the head up to the ceiling, and front, and put it down. And other leg will go to the back first, and reach it back, and side, and front. Moving from the hip, find the glutes to send the leg back, side of the hip to send the leg side, quads to send the leg forward. One more time. And out, and forward, and then go ahead and put that leg down. Okay, now we're gonna do some traveling side to side. So kind of orient yourself so you have a little bit of space. We're gonna start with a step touch, step touch, step touch, and we're gonna kind of hop it so it's a little faster. So we're gonna go step touch, step touch, step touch, and then another way, step touch, step touch, step touch, step touch, step touch, step touch. And my rug likes to move underneath me, which is a little bit dangerous, but also a little bit fun. If you have a rug, you might stand off of it. Step touch, step touch, step touch. Step touch, step touch, step touch. Step touch, step touch, step touch. Let's go back and forth 2 more times. 1 more time. 2 more times. Now we're gonna keep doing that same movement, but when you get to the end, you're gonna hold it. So you're just gonna lift this leg up. Doesn't matter where it is. It can be out to the side, you can pull it in, whatever. You're just gonna find your balance. And then you're gonna go the other way. Step touch, step touch, step touch. Try to stick it, find your balance. And other way. Step touch, step touch, step touch, find your balance. Other side. You can go on your own timing. Really just try to be true to finding that balance. And if you need to catch yourself, then try to catch yourself. Step touch, step touch, step touch. And we'll do 1 more time each side. And last one. Good. Okay, shake it out. One more thing with this kind of side to side. So same basic idea, but we're gonna step cross, step cross, step cross, okay? So this is kind of this contralateral, we're twisting our upper body in opposition to our lower body, okay? So we'll start with the same idea as we did before, where we go step cross, step cross, step cross, and then we'll go back, step cross, step cross, step cross, step cross, and across, and across, and across. Yep. Keep going side to side. And kind of challenge your feet to be light, little hopping feeling, so it's not so kind of heavy and plodding, but trying to feel lightness in your body, lightness through your feet. And forward, and back, and forward, and back. One more time. Doing the grapevine. And now we're gonna do the same thing we did before. We're gonna find our balance at the end. So we'll go and front and back and hold it. Boop. And then we'll go back the other way. And front and back and hold it. And front and back and hold it. And front and back and hold it. Trying to find that balance, find that stick. And front and back and hold it. And front and back and hold it. We'll go one more time each side. And last time. Hold it. Woo. Good job, guys. All right, shake it out. Very good. Grab your weights. I'm gonna do a couple more things standing and then we'll go to the floor. So we're gonna find a stable position now with our lower body. We're gonna find a lunge. I have my back knee bent slightly and I'm trying to get my weight kind of evenly distributed between both my legs. So all my weight's not forward or back. It's kind of right in the middle, all right? From here, we're gonna take the arms reciprocal. Up and down. One arm goes up, and the other arm goes up. And just finding that stable base of the legs and the pelvis. Try to feel that the feet and the pelvis are grounding down towards the floor, and the head and the shoulders and the arms are floating up towards the ceiling. So there's sort of this length through the center between your ribs and your hips. The top part above your waist is nice and light. The bottom part below your waist is heavy towards the ground. Good. Now we're going to take our arms out to the side to switch places, and then they come back through the center. They cross, they go out to the side to switch places, they cross, open, so they keep going in the same direction, cross, open, and cross, open. Now we're gonna switch it. So the arm that's up is gonna go open to the side to switch, and then you'll cross other arm in front and circle around and cross. So you should be going the opposite direction. There's some fun variations going on, Patricia. I love it. I love what you're doing. Good. And last one. And then go ahead and bring your other leg forward. You'll have another opportunity to do that, you guys. I know you're very excited. So here we go. Other leg is forward. Both knees are slightly bent. We'll start with our reciprocal arms. One arm goes up and switch. And switch. And switch. And again, just feeling grounded through the lower body, light through the upper body. Waist is drawing in, shoulders are connected to the back. So really feel that the shoulder blades, the muscles that connect to the shoulder blades, are working to keep your shoulder blades connected to your rib cage. And the movement of the shoulder blades helps to make the movement of the arm. So it's not just your arm muscles doing all that. Good. Now we're going to start our windmill. So we've got one arm up, one arm down. Let's say same arm is up as your front leg. Then you're going to open both arms out to the side. They switch places, and then they come through the center. And open through the side, switch places, and then they go through the center. Open, and through the center. And side, and through the center. And side, and through the center. One more time in this direction, and side, and through the center. Now I'm going to switch, so the same arm as my back leg is up, Then they open out to the side and then switch through the center. And open and switch. And open, so they're both out to the side at the same time. And then they move through the center. And open. And center. One more time. This is so good for your brains. And center. All right, go ahead and shake them out. Okay, let's come down to the ground. We'll start on our backs. Feet are sits bone distance apart. Weights are in the hands. And you can just start by feeling your head, rib cage, pelvis, and feet heavy against the ground. Taking a couple of breaths and just allowing for gravity to pull those heavy parts of your body down towards the center of the earth. And allow for the backs of the shoulders to gently drop down towards the ground so that you feel a little bit of width through your collarbone. Take one more nice deep breath here. Feel the rib cage, kind of the center of your body, just soften and drop down nice and heavy. And then from here, we're gonna tuck our tailbone under, send the belly button towards the back. And then we're gonna roll through neutral pelvis, send the sits bones down, and arch the back. So it's just a little rock through the pelvis, tucking the pelvis, back is flat on the ground, and then tilting the pelvis, low back is arched away from the ground. And tuck, and tilt, and tuck, and tilt. One more time, tuck, and tilt. And then settle the pelvis into its neutral position. And then we're gonna do the same thing with our ribs. We're gonna lift our ribs away from the ground, so arching your back, kind of like I tell you not to do usually. And then we're gonna fold the ribs down into the ground, and you should almost feel like your neck extends a little bit, so your chin lifts. And then again, lifting the ribs, chin drops down towards the chest, and then lower the ribs, chin lifts away from the chest. And lift the ribs, and lower the ribs, and lift the ribs, and lower the ribs. One more time. Lift, and lower. And then find a neutral position for your ribs. And then we'll do the same thing with our head. So you're gonna lift your head, looking back, kind of towards the wall behind you. And then drop your chin down towards your chest, look forward towards your knees. And head goes back, and head comes forward. Just allow the back of the head to roll along the ground. Try not to pick your head up, but really allow the gravity and the heaviness of the head to start the movement. And last time. And then find neutral, kind of the middle ground with your head there. Now we're going to stabilize all three parts, your pelvis, your rib cage, and your head. And we're going to lift your right leg and left arm up. Leg to tabletop, arm reaches up to the ceiling. And then we'll set that arm and leg down. And without changing anything through your torso, lift the other arm and leg. And setting it down. And other arm and leg. Keep feeling the heaviness of the back of the shoulder down towards the ground so that collarbone stays nice and wide. And the top of your arm bone is the fulcrum of your lever. So it stays where it is in place to allow for your arm to lift up instead of trying to pick that shoulder up away from the ground. And then next time your right leg is up and your left arm is up, pause. You're going to tap your weight to your knee across the body and then extend the leg forward and the arm back. And knee touches the hand, and reach away. And knee touches the hand, and reach away. Keeping the top of the shoulder into the mat, top of the arm bone, dropping down heavy into the socket. Feel the shoulder blade glide along the rib cage to bring that arm behind you. One more time. Now we're gonna leave the leg long. We're gonna flex the foot. We're gonna lift the head as we take the arm to the leg, and then lower the head as you bring your arm back and leg down. And everything comes up, and everything comes down. The lifting of the head happens because you are contracting underneath your sternum. So folding underneath the rib cage to lift that head up. And two more. If it's too much on your neck, you can always down. Other leg is going to come up to tabletop. Other arm is going to come up. And again, you're going to tap the knee and reach the arm back, reach the leg forward. Head stays down for the first round. Knee comes in and reach back. Pelvis is heavy on the ground. Ribs are heavy on the ground. Head is heavy on the ground. Moving from the shoulder, moving from the hip. 3 more. And 2. And 1 more. And then we're gonna leave the leg long, flex that foot, nod your chin to your chest, and fold under the sternum to lift the head and reach, and lower everything down. And reach, and lower. Now we are folding at the spine, so we've got more spine involvement in this movement. 3 more. Make sure you nod your chin gently to your chest before you lift your head to protect the back of the neck. Last time. And then go ahead and bend that knee, place the foot down, and place the arms down. We're gonna curl the tailbone under, peel the spine off the ground 1 vertebrae at a time, send those knees forward over the toes, and then roll back down 1 vertebrae at a time, finding more space and length between each vertebra. And again, curl the tailbone under, peeling up, send the knees forward, shoulders are still wide, and then roll it down 1 vertebra at a time. And 1 more time like that, curling the tailbone under, peeling the spine up, sending those knees forward, feel your hamstrings engage a little deeper, and then roll it down 1 vertebra at a time. And we'll curl up and stay. Curl the tailbone under, peel up, pause, feel the back of your head heavy, feel your top of your rib cage heavy, and the back of the shoulders heavy. And then float the arms up towards the ceiling with the weights in your hands. And we'll open the right arm out to the side and bring it back to the center. And then open the left arm out to the side and bring it back to center. And open, and center, and open, and center. The side that's not moving is your stabilizing side. Feel what has to happen through your obliques in order for your pelvis not to drop. And we'll do 1 more each side. Open and close. And other side, open and close. Roll down through your spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Just leave your arms up towards the ceiling. Take a breath in. Exhale, curl the tailbone under. Peel the spine off, rolling up into your bridge. And we're going to do the same arms that we did in our lunge. So we're going to start with 1 arm up, 1 arm back, reciprocal arms. reaching from that stable shoulder joint. So still feeling the back or the head of the arm bone dropping down into that shoulder joint. And then we're going to pause with the right arm up to the ear and the left arm down to the hip. Both arms are going to open out to the side to switch places, and then they'll come back up through the center. And we'll keep going in that direction. Right arm back, left arm down. They move away from each other to switch places, and then come up through the center. 2 more times. Right arm up, left arm down, and open to switch. And 1 more time. Right arm back, left arm down, and open to switch. Come back through the center. Send your left arm up, right arm down, and then they switch places. And then they come back up through the center. Left arm up, right arm down, open to switch places, and lift up through the center. 2 more times. Left arm up, right arm down, switch. And last time. And switch. And then come back to the center with your arms and roll down through your spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Let your arms come down to the ground. You can set your weights to the side and just plant your hands into the mat. We're going to press up in a hinge with our pelvis. So rather than curling the tailbone to lift up, we're just going to extend the hips to press the pelvis up. We're going to reach the right leg up towards the ceiling. You can point that toe. And then you're going to lower your pelvis 2 inches, again, finding that hinge at the hip, and then press back up. And lower 2 inches, and push. And lower, and push. Thinking of a string pulling your right toe up to the ceiling. 4 more. Press. And 3. And 2. And 1. And set that foot down. Don't let your pelvis drop. Keep it nice and level. Send your other leg up to the ceiling. Point that toe. And then lowering down, again, by hinging at the hips. And then push. So it's your glute of your standing leg that's working to lift your pelvis up. And push. And push. 3. And 2. And 1. And bend that knee, put that foot down, and roll down through your spine 1 more time. And then let's just set the weights a little further away from us so we don't bump into them. You're going to extend your left knee, pull your right knee into your chest. Give it a little hug. And then just circle that ankle of the foot that's in towards your chest. And then reverse that circle. And then you're going to send your knee a little bit out towards your same side of your shoulder. So it's your right leg, it's your right shoulder. And let the front of the hip, that's the straight leg, open up. And then you're going to take that knee across the opposite shoulder. Let the leg just drop down towards the ground and your opposite arm open out to the side, and you can look back towards that hand. You can soften the bottom leg, the knee of the bottom leg. And then let the hip drop back down towards the ground and the knee come back to the center. And then we'll switch legs. This leg can drop down to the ground and slide out. Other heel draws in towards the sits bone. Pull that knee into the chest. And start by circling your ankle, just folding the front of the hip. Feel that crease in the front of the hip deepen and soften as you hold your knee in this position. And reverse your circle. And then let that knee open out to the armpit of the same leg, or same arm. And then let the knee cross over the body and let it just soften to the ground as you open up your opposite arm and look towards it. So you're getting a twist through the spine. Try to let your knee and your opposite shoulder be nice and heavy towards the ground, not forcing it with your hand, but just allowing weight to drop it down towards the ground. And let the back of the hip get heavier to bring your knee back into the center. And then you can let that foot drop down to the ground and slide along the ground. And we're gonna take our right leg, cross over the left, and flip onto your belly. And from here, go ahead and grab your weights, have them next to you, down by your side. But we're gonna start with our arms and legs in an X position. So we're nice and wide here. And in this position, allow your pelvis to just drop down towards the ground. Pubic bone is anchored gently, belly button is drawing up gently, and then my forehead is just about 2 inches away from the ground, and I'm looking straight down. From here, I'm going to reach my right fingertips away from my center along that X axis, and I'm gonna float that arm off the ground. And then lower down. And then my other arm's gonna reach out along that diagonal, float up, and lower down. I'm making sure that I'm not lifting my shoulder up to my ear, but I'm anchoring my scapula, my shoulder blade on my rib cage. So anchoring the scapula on the rib cage and then floating the arm. And anchor the shoulder blade, float the arm. And anchor the shoulder blade, flip the arm. One more time each side. Reaching along that diagonal. And other side. Now, I'm going to keep my hands planted into the ground. And I'm going to lift my right leg. So I'm going to send my right toe along that same diagonal and float my leg up and lower down. And then reaching the left toe, floating up and lowering down. Pelvis stays right where it is, so that connection of your pubic bone into the mat gently stays. Belly button drawing up gently stays. And I'm trying not to sink my hip of the leg that I'm lifting. I'm trying not to sink that hip bone into the ground. So I'm trying to kind of keep even weight in both hip bones. One more time each side. Feel the glute, pull that leg up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to do opposite arm and leg. So my right arm and my left leg, we're going to reach along the diagonal and then float up away from the ground and lower back. And then my left arm and my right leg reach along that diagonal, float up and lower down. And right arm, left leg, lift and lower. Left arm, right leg, lift and lower. One more time each side. Feeling that diagonal line through the rib cage, through the pelvis, and then extending out into the arm and leg. And lower. Go ahead and let your cheek come to the mat and just shake your hips out for a second. We'll rock side to side. And then we'll come back to that same position with your forehead about 2 inches off the mat. Arms and legs are reaching out from center like a starfish. And then keep the pubic bone heavy, keep the belly button lifted. You're gonna float everything off the mat. So everything reaches along the diagonal, along that X, comes up and lowers down. Inhale, exhale, everything reaches along the diagonal and floats. And lowering down. 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, everything reaches and floats and lowers down. And one more time. Exhale, everything reaches and floats and lower down. And then again, go ahead and shake your hips side to side. Release any tension in your low back. Good. Okay, we're gonna take our weights in our hands all the way back by our hips. Bring your legs just a little bit narrower. They don't have to be touching, but more underneath your pelvis. Turn the palms to face the ceiling. Roll your shoulders together and back so you're connecting your shoulder blades in the back. And then float your upper back up away from the ground. Float your arms away from the ground. And little pulses here. Keeping the pubic bone heavy towards the ground, belly button lifting gently. And think about that length through the top of the head. So continuing to feel that kind of starfish. And pause. And lower down, bring your cheek to the mat. Take a breath in. And exhale, heavy pubic bone. Lift the belly, floating back up. One more time, pulsing the arms up to the ceiling. Reach your fingertips towards your toes, drawing the shoulder blades together and in. And pause, hold, and then lower everything down. Good, let's take the arms out to the side. And again, you can either keep your cheek on the mat if your neck's bothering you, but if not, go ahead and come to that same position with your head where you're just 2 inches away from the mat, looking straight down. And you can do this with weights or without weights. You're gonna anchor your pubic bone heavy to the ground. We're gonna lift one arm with the weight or without the weight, and then bring it back down. And then other arm. So anchoring one side as the opposite arm lifts. And float the arm and lower. And I'm thinking of kind of drawing my shoulder blade in towards the midline, in towards my spine to start to lift the arm. So I'm anchoring my shoulder blade first, and then the arm comes up. One more time each side. And then set both weights on the ground. Do this without your weights. Float your upper body up a little bit more. Take the arms up and little circles with the arms. And then reverse. And then pull the elbows underneath you and prop yourself up into a Sphinx pose. So my elbows are right under my shoulders, and I'm pressing my whole forearm into the ground. Now from here, pull your shoulder blades apart on your rib cage so you're drawing, it's almost like you're drawing your sternum up away from the ground. So push into your arms and pull your sternum back. Good. Keep the belly button lifted. You're gonna reach your right foot out, kick your heel to your seat with a pointed foot, and then a flexed foot, and then lower down. Other side. Point, flex, lower down. Point, flex, lower down. Now, if you feel like your body's really rocking as you kick your heel to your seat, see if you can find a little bit more stabilization between your hip bones. So draw your belly button up a little tighter. Think about your waist drawing in narrower. Keep pushing down into those elbows. Don't let your chest collapse towards the ground. Sternum away from the ground. One more time. Point and flex and lower down. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders and press yourself back into child's pose. And reach your hands forward. And you can just set your hips side to side, little rock, rock. And then let's let the hips stay over to the left side. Bring your arms over to the right side. You can push with your right hand. Give yourself a little bit more traction to open up the left side of the ribs. And then take your hips over to the right, your arms over to the left. And again, you can use your left hand to press, get a little bit more traction. And then we'll bring hands to the middle and coming up onto your hands and knees. So you're in your all fours position. Hands are right under the shoulders, knees are right under the hips. We're gonna tuck our toes under, and then think about a belly button, string pulling your belly button straight up to the ceiling to float your knees off the ground. We'll take 3 nice deep breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling, pushing the weight of your hands into the ground and then lifting your rib cage away from the hands. And breathing in and exhale. And one more nice deep breath in and exhale. And gently set your knees back down onto the ground. Adjust your hands or your feet if you need to kind of shake out your wrists. And we're going to go back into that same position. So toes are tucked under, hands are right under the shoulders, belly button will lift the knees away from the ground. And we're going to push up and back into a downward dog. Hips up, heels low, head low. And then we're going to bend the knees and fold the hips back down into your hovering knee position. And again, lift the hips up, head down. And coming forward, hovering the knees over the ground. And again, hips up, head down. And forward and hover. 2 more times. Hips up, head down. And hover. And one more time. And hover. We're going to come back to our downward dog. We're going to stay in our downward dog. Think about the hands and the heels reaching heavy into the ground as the hips lift up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to start to tread through our feet. So kind of coming back to what we were doing at the beginning of class. Heel comes up onto the ball of the foot. And then keep treading those feet as you walk your feet towards your hands as close as you can get. And then bring your weight back onto your feet and let your arms just hang forward. Soft knees, head hangs forward. Take a breath here and just start to circle the arms. Imagine that your shoulder blades are like waterfalls draping off of your rib cage. And then reverse your circle. And then let your arms just hang and be still. Soften your knees. Let your sits bones drop down towards your heels as you pull your belly button towards your spine and round up 1 vertebrae at a time, stacking your hips, stacking your spine. Stay there. I'm going to adjust my screen. All right, we're going to take our arms straight up overhead. You can interlace your fingers, reach them up to the ceiling, lift your shoulders up to your ears, find all that space in your waist between your ribs and your pelvis, and then let your shoulders just melt down away from your ears without changing the space between your ribs and your pelvis. So heavy shoulders, we're going to lift up and over to the left. And then coming back up through the center and up and over to the right. And center, unlace your fingers, bring your arms to your goalpost. You're gonna twist, look back towards that backhand. And center, and exhale, twist, looking back towards the backhand. And center, and reach the arms out away from each other. Think about a string, pulling those fingertips as far as they can away from one another, getting a full stretch through the front of the chest. And then gently lower those arms down to your hips. And shake out your hands. All right, you guys, you are finished. Cooked goose. Hold on, how do I here we go. Unmute you guys. Okay, you're unmuted. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks. That was great.
Good, good.
See you soon.
Thank you. I'll see you guys
Thank
later.
you.
Hi. Oh, I'm like looking at the wrong screen. Here we go. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, guys.
There we go. Hey.
How's it going? Hold on a second.
Just us in the room, yes?